Do you believe humans were ever purely fruitarians? I know you eat some greens. You recommend fruit and tender leafy greens, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. And it's important to point out, by the way, I'll come to your question, but I do not recommend eating things like kale. Even though we know it's a superfood, it contains boatloads of stuff. As I just finished saying, we're already getting way more stuff than we need. We don't need more nutrition. The problem with kale is we can't digest it very easily. Okay. In fact, it's funny when I go to these raw food restaurants, oftentimes nowadays all they have, it seems, is kale. They don't have lettuce anymore in their salads, all kale salads. Everyone wants to have it because it's the superfood. And so I'll sit with people at dinner before I get up and speak. Um, and people will often say things like, yeah, I love this kale. I'll say, really, how do you feel after you eat a kale salad? They're like, oh, I usually get a lot of gas. Okay, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, do you get gas when you eat watermelon, papayas? I don't. If people consistently have gas when they eat something, it's because we're not digesting it very well. And as a species, we have a trouble with the cruciferous vegetables because they're very high in cellulose and they're very high in complex starches that the body can't break down, which is why people have historically eaten them cooked. Does that mean we should be eating them cooked? No, cooking creates toxins, it destroys nutrients, and it eliminates most of the perfect water. What we ought to do, I think, like every other species, here's a crazy idea. Let's do what nature has offered us. Right? Nature has said to us, hey, folks, listen, you can eat the most delicious things on the planet all the time and thrive. You can have mangoes, you can have papayas, you can have bananas if you like them, you can have watermelons, you can have cantaloupes, you can have pineapples, you can have all these incredible things. Well, thanks, but I'll have a pizza instead. I'll have a pizza and I'll feel like crap and I'll make myself obese over a number of years of doing that. And I'll dehydrate my body and I'll create all kinds of diseases, but I'll pass on the fruit. Thanks anyway. Okay. So, were we ever eating just fruit? I don't know. Maybe we were. Maybe people need greens because they're deficient in some mineral. Now, I still eat them, but I don't know that my body ever craves them so much anymore. But there are times when my body says, yeah, have a salad. Salad sounds good. So I still eat salads sometimes. I don't, I think it's important to understand that, I mean, let me say it this way. I think there are a lot of people out there who say, well, fruitarian's best, I'm just going to eat fruit, even if their body's wanting greens. They're not listening to their body. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think we need to let go of the ego and not eat something because we think it's better, but rather just let the body dictate. When I have my next meal in 2 or 3 hours, my second meal of the day, my last meal of the day, I'll walk into the kitchen. I'll survey what we have. I know we have. We have watermelons and papayas and pineapples and some bananas and some salad stuff and a few other fruits. And I'll let my body tell me what it really wants, which one it resonates with most. And that's what I'll eat. And if it's salad, I'll eat that. And I don't care that, oh yeah, but I'd be somehow more spiritually advanced if I was just eating fruit. Maybe not. I think we become as spiritually advanced as possible when we're dealing with the reality of any situation, of every situation. We're truly in touch with what is. That's when we're connected, and that's what spirituality is for me. So I'm not doing anything because I think it's going to, it's somehow better intellectually. I'm doing it because my body says, hey, this would be the best thing for me right now. Please give me that.
Since most of the tender leafy greens are hybridized, do you believe there was anything tender leafy back when we were eating just fruit and tender leafy greens, if we were?
Well, I know I'm a few years older than you, but I wasn't here then.
Yeah.
So I can only speculate. I don't know. I mean, there may well have been some things that were there, but there's nothing wrong with eating hybrids.
Sure.
I mean, people I think often confuse hybrids with GMO. Most of the fruit we eat is hybrid too. That's okay.
Right.
That's not a problem. I've been thriving on it for 20, 23 plus years. So I'm not worried about something being hybrid. Your question is a very valid question. My guess is the answer is yes. And if we look at the chimpanzees and the bonobos, They will take leaves off of trees and wherever, off of plants, but they'll eat the tip of a soft, tender leaf and throw the rest away. They're eating the softest part of the soft leaf and throwing the rest away. So I'm sure we could have found something. Maybe it was, maybe they weren't, they didn't look like the things we're eating now, perhaps.
Right.
But I think there's always, because there's all kinds of herbaceous plants which have relatively soft leaves.
Yeah, I didn't mean to talk trash on hybrids. I imagine we've been naturally hybridizing things our whole existence, just picking the sweetest things.
Well, in fact, yeah, exactly. We it happens as a result, partly as you're saying, of just replanting the seeds that we like best, selectively planting those things. It also happens all by itself in nature, even without our assistance. They're hybrids. In fact, it's kind of a cool fact many people may not know, but do you like apples at all?
Yeah.
Got a favorite variety?
Pink lady.
Pink ladies are good. They're nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not too sweet, not too tart.
Yeah.
Sort of in between there. Have you ever been to a pink lady apple orchard?
No.
All the trees are grafted.
Yeah.
Every single one. Because every single apple seed will become a new variety.
Really?
Every single one. Not every fruit does that. Many fruits will grow the same fruit that the seed came from, but not apples. There are many varieties of apples, and apple seeds, apple trees are pollinated by other seeds. And so whatever comes out of that seed, it's going to depend on lots of things, and every single one of them is going to be different. It would be hard to sell apples. What does this taste like? Well, I don't know. It's a new, every single time it's a new variety, right? So apple growers graft their trees to ensure they're getting the exact same product every single time. Now, this is not hybridization, but it's just a point. I mean, apple orchards can exist in nature. They exist, but you wouldn't have one variety of apple or 5 varieties of apples. You'd have every single tree would be different.
Mm-hmm.
So humans are always manipulating. We're always manipulating the things that we're growing. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a problem. Now, genetic manipulation is very different.
Right.
That creates all kinds of problems. I think we want to stay away from that. That's pretty clear.
Yeah.